Yeah,
I wanted to know about your workflow because you're using a lot of hardware and
yeah.
of course, you're using MIDI. And I also got to know you're using Pro Tools. So, like,
Mhm.
maybe can you take us through your entire workflow, how you go from an
Sure,
idea
sure.
to the end of a
Let me
song?
do something. I'm gonna run over there and grab that little camera so I
Okay?
can turn the studio very quickly and I'll put it back. Then I can
Amazing.
explain.
That would be great.
Yeah, let me see. That's what I was hoping to do with the laptop, but
I know, I
apparently
know,
it
I know.
didn't really work out, you know? So on this side, I have a bunch of digital synths.
Okay.
Well, apart from the little sub fatty, it's mostly FM and like a little Triton and DX7 and a
Nice.
bunch of some old four operator FM stuff. On the other side, you can see there's a couple Junos. That's Rev 2, Prophet, Mellotron, JX3P, that
Nice.
Behringer Poly D. That's an MS-20 over there. So I have basically a passive DI with a
Okay.
switcher on it. What I can do is later, if anybody wants to know, I'll send you a picture of it. Unfortunately, yes, people can buy it, but it's not in stores. Um, so you might be familiar with the producer Max Bonin,
Yes.
great pop producer. So his engineers, are very good friends of mine.
Okay.
So there's a setup that Max uses at MXM. So
Okay.
basically, I'm using the same thing. So they built a passive DI, and it's really like low noise, and it's a knob where you can switch between 12 channels of synths.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of a mixer, I'm using that system. So if I want to call up a synth, basically in Pro Tools, audio wise, I have them all sort of labeled, you know,
Okay.
um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And when I have other synths, I'll swap them basically, from the storage, bring it on. So
Okay.
if gets swapped with like I don't know JX something, it'll become 5 again, right? So
Got
at a
it.
time I can go up to 12.
Okay.
If somebody has more stuff, I'm just for the community saying you can daisy chain them too.
Got it. Understood.
Through that DI, you can also put pedal boards.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, I can be like, oh, I need my, I don't know, minimal to be distorted with the overdrive pedal. I can do the
Okay.
same, right? So
Nice.
so basically all the synths are connected to the back of that
Got it.
DI.
Okay.
And the line level is going to the back of my preamp, which is right here.
Okay.
It's a TG2
Okay.
channel. Super cleanish kind of sound. It's still a warm, nice preamp. It's not a tube pre because with synthesizers, I felt like if it's too tubey, you lose the transient attack a little bit, and
Yeah.
it can be too much color.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
it goes through TG2. From there on, my setup is Pro Tools HDX.
Nice.
So I'm using links just because Satya said go geeky. Let's go geeky. Links Aurora as my converter. So I'm
Okay.
not using the HDIO. I'm using the links. So yeah, so it goes straight to the links into Pro Tools, and that is the reason I'm in Pro Tools. It's zero latency.
Of
So
course.
I
Yeah.
can have like a long ass session with a lot of vocals or whatever, and I can still jump on any synth, and it's in time with the singer or whatever, right?
Of course.
Um, with MIDI, you can look up Neo from
Okay.
God, who makes this thing? iConnectivity Neo 10.
Okay. I
So
connect. Okay. Got it.
activity is Neo 10. So basically, in my Pro Tools, we're still sharing the Pro Tools, right? Yeah. So you can see if I wanna open, let's say, a track, uh, MIDI track or whatever. If I open here, uh, you
I
can
don't think
see.
I'm able to see your screen though.
Okay, Okay, let
Now I
me.
am. Okay.
Oh, you are okay. Maybe it was just the delay. So I just created a little MIDI track here for me, so you
Okay.
can see all this. The key station is my controller. You can see the Prophet shows up as a Prophet, Triton shows up as a Triton, DX7, Poly
Got it.
D. They all sort of show up there. Um, the
Okay.
Junos are not named. I'm being lazy. I know DIN 6 is Juno 60, but that's just me. So it's a very good setup where I can literally play something on a subsynth, right?
Okay.
CRM or something. Oh, I want to hear it with the Juno 60 doubled. I can put that on my MIDI track and then basically call up an audio track, right? And one and two are my synths, and yeah, basically the Juno will play. If I want to flip it with like, oh, I want to hear a mellotron play, I don't know, vibraphone subsynth,
Hmm.
I can do that. I rarely in the middle of a session go and flip things all over. Usually
Okay.
the workflow is either I start on hardware because we are organically jamming, like a
Of course.
singer or guitar player comes in, one of us will be on a synth, let's say,
Hmm.
right? And the other person will be jamming. Oh, by the way, that DI thing can also handle guitar. So the
Oh,
guitar
nice.
will
Of
do the
course.
same thing, right?
So
So we'll
yeah.
be jamming, and okay, we have like a vibe sort of going. I will hit record, and we'll get like a loop of something, and then I can work like that. That happens with singer songwriters, guitar players, mostly in that sort of genres.
Got it.
When I'm doing like a K-pop song, it's sort of a very different mindset.
Hmm.
Um, Usually, we get a lead or a brief from the label or publisher.
Okay.
We do quite a lot of writing camps here. So we did one for SM Entertainment in January.
Okay.
So the A&Rs will come in,
Okay.
or they would send us in advance, like, what are they looking for? Okay, SP is looking for blah, blah, blah. Or, I don't know, um, trying to remember artists. So and so is looking for, if it's the JYP, Twice is looking for such a song, right? So we'll go in, and I try to stay as much as possible in software because we
Got
don't
it.
know the keys yet. It's harder
Yeah.
with synths to transpose, hardware to transpose. I have to
Yeah. Of
retrack
course.
things, and I'm
I know.
pretty lazy. I don't save all my MIDI, so I go replay things. So I stay in software. Um, Usually my workflow is I like to start from the hook, and that
Of course.
goes with almost everything I do. Being a pop person, in pop music, if there is no hook, you don't have a song.
Yeah.
You can have the most creative, beautiful intro and verse, and then you get to a hook. If it's underwhelming, then there's nothing there, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I usually start with a 16 bar or a 32 bar, whatever, hook and a post hook sort of section.
Got it.
And not every one of my producer guys work like that, but I tend to work like that. And the first thing for me is okay, we have kind of a lead or a brief. This is kind of the style they want. Okay, if it's reggaeton or new disco or whatever the flavor of the month is, right? Um, I try to lock in a tempo
Okay.
and sort of find something unique. That is my first step.
Got
So
it.
if you look in my computer, I sometimes have these folders called idea starters. I don't know if I can show them. Oh, never mind. I guess only the Pro Tools is showing the screen. But basically, it's just a folder. I call it
Okay.
idea generators.
Okay.
And the idea generators will have samples. When I'm doing nothing, I'm on the laptop with headphone on my couch at home. I'm going through cool shit, cool
Okay.
samples. Or sometimes you'll have a musician come through, like my friend Anders would come in with a guitar because we just have a free session there. I'll have him play like, hey man, can you do like a cool Spanish kind of thing in this sort of tempo and do me like four variations of it
God.
or eight
Hmm.
variations or something, or an unusual guitar like a cigar guitar, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
And also was price hunting for days, you know. So this idea generator folder will have a lot. So I'll go look at the brief, what's the tempo, what's the style, but obviously I don't want to copy that song
Of
because
course.
when you pitch, everybody's gonna copy that song, right? So we
Yeah.
gotta make it different.
Of
So
course.
I'll try to find one element that makes it different, unique,
Yeah.
and then the rest of it I try to keep it consistent. As in chord progression, I would keep the tonality same, the mood the same, maybe
Yeah.
not the sound the same. If it's a pluck on a synth, I would try to have it on a guitar or like move things
Yeah.
around a little.
Of course.
So it yeah. So once we find that sort of hook section, I call it the A section, even if it's a B section. I
Yeah.
work backwards and find the other section.
Of course.
So the
Yeah.
contrast of it, which will be a verse or a rap section or something in the case of K-pop, and then find the connecting part, which is like the pre-hook or a build or whatever.
Yeah.
And this will end up becoming usually a minute and a half of music,
Hmm.
right?
Of course. Yeah.
So that would be the hook, the leading up to it. So no intros, no bridges, nothing. And I'll leave it like that till the songwriters come in, the top liners come in.
Okay.
So
Got it.
when they come in, we write to this, and then we copy the whole thing over.
Of
Again,
course.
top format.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes we'll add a post hook or a bridge depending on the song, and then I'll take elements of the hook or the post hook or any of it and make intros out of it. So
Okay. Understood.
subconsciously, people kind of know,
That's
this is
coming. Yeah. It's
that's
coming.
coming, right? It could be a
Yeah.
secondary melody or something like that. So do something like that, and uh, and my mix template is uh, pretty pretty much in a place where by the time I'm in a certain place, like I would say 20% into the song,
Okay.
it goes up against every audio engineer saying, I work into my master, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm lazy and, I just like the sound to be good for me,
Of
It's,
course. Yeah.
so I have these basically after the tracks in Pro Tools, I have these. Um, by the way, Mahesh, I'm colorblind, so I'm calling this yellow. If this is green, forgive me.
Well, I'm not able to see the
Oh, you
screen
but you
yet.
can see my
Yeah.
Pro
I
Tools
think
here.
I think it needs to be enabled. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we are. So in Pro Tools, I have my tracks. Obviously, I work a lot in audio, and I'm
Hmm.
quite messy when I'm working. So these are all just chops of drums. Even if I played it in MIDI, I quickly switch up to audio. I save the MIDI sometimes, drums, bass, some synthy stuff, chords or whatever, and then comes the buses. Drums, bass, synth, effects, all of that, and it goes to my stereo bus. Usually, I
Okay.
have some EQs to start with, Pultec and curve bender and standard stuff, nothing crazy. Then for levels, and that is to answer your question, I do use a bit of hardware.
Okay.
I'm using an SSL-IO, it's just a SSL bus compressor,
Okay. Nice.
the old type. It just gives you punch. That's all.
Of course. Yeah.
Obviously, the UA version is incredible. Um, there's so much software that's just great. So this is just old school. That's all.
Yeah.
Um, and that's pretty much it. On my drum bus, it's very simple. A little parallel compression is there. A little limiter, nothing crazy. Same thing with the bass, a little compressor and a little, low cut. Same thing with synths, a little low cut and compressor. It's just for the effects. Oh, if anybody is interested in the mixing aspect of things, this is a great plugin for your effects cost. If you sweep out some of the center of things like reverb and delay, it takes care of a lot of messiness.
Which
You
is
can,
this plugin?
oh, that's Waves Center.
Wave Center. Okay, great.
Yeah. So again, very very old school, very very simple plugins. LA2As, 1176, nothing crazy. Um, yeah, you can see like most of my shit is just EQ and compression. There's nothing more.
That's all you need, right?
It's very. I'm like I use one knob a lot from Waves because it's just one knob. Again, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So the I am not a tweaker. Too many knobs scare me.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so then we'll have like sort of like a 1 minute kind of thing that way. Mixed, good to go. Play it to the A&Rs. Hopefully they'll like it,
Okay.
and then we'll finish it up, and then send it away to the artist. Hopefully they'll, you know, do it as in
Yeah.
it'll be placed. But that's
Nice.
the workflow in a nutshell.
But I guess just like you starting from the hook,
Yeah.
that I think that's like that's a great way to start any piece of music because I find that workflow easier for myself as well. So I have a hook in mind whenever I work on anything. For me, so for Indian music,
Hmm.
the melodic aspect comes first in
Absolutely.
any way. So whether you're working on, say, an instrumental or a vocal, I always start with that, and then everything else falls into place because uh, when you're looking at the melody, that's what kind of like the way we listen to music, the melody is what sticks in your head, and I work everything around the melody, and
Absolutely.
everything I do is to enhance that. So because that's pretty much the only difference, because the hook obviously is that's the thing I work on first. So I work on Logic.
Oh, good.
So and I'm big into controllers. So I have machine, I have my iPad, I have a bunch of MPE stuff. So my thing is everything I put onto Logic, I don't program. I have to play each and everything myself.
That is
So
really. Oh wait, wait, wait. Let me ask you. So even drums and stuff,
yeah,
you play the whole thing, or you do
I
that?
play I play.
Wow,
Yeah, because
that's super organic.
yeah, of course um I can quantize something that I
Sure.
don't like, but the thing is for me, like if I am from it takes so much uh it takes so much of time to just put it in place, but if I'm able to
Right.
play it, I can just try out like 4 or 5 different ideas, and it just happens so much quicker. And of course, like I can get the velocities the way I want, like
Absolutely.
yeah. So I'm like
That
super
is
big
so
into
good.
all kinds of controllers and like that's my workflow.
Man, this is so cool because I was watching. I ended up watching a Timberland's masterclass, and obviously now he's very active.
Of course.
And I saw his workflow, and I'm not saying he doesn't program, but he apparently doesn't quantize.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of guys, I guess, like Jay Dillon, people. I don't know. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure, but it's there's something about just the humanness,
Yes.
and that's what people relate to. And I love your idea of everything is a take, not
Yeah,
a fix or.
everything is a take. Yeah, like because when you play a bass line, it sounds so much different than when you program a bass line. I don't know. I don't quantize 100%. I quantize like 60.
Oh, wow.
Maybe the first note I quantized 100, but everything else is 60 because
Mm,
then you kind of get the whole vibe of the performance, and it sounds like even everything is electronic, by the way. It's
mhm.
not like a rock song or anything. Even if it's like EDM, when you play it, it's just like it's got its own vibe.
Right, and I kind of feel like that's what makes your music different too. Obviously, it's the iPad aspect and the expression that you put into the melody. That's incredible. But on top of that, it's like everything around it is also. It doesn't feel like here's a guy soloing over an arrangement. It never felt like that with your music. It was just cohesive as is. So that's really cool. Uh, what other things other than doing these takes that you do to make things more breathe, if I may, in your arrangements?
For me, it's all also about dynamics,
Mm,
because since I've been working on a digital instrument,
right,
uh, the thing with the iPad is I realized very early on that it's very hard to get dynamics because this is a touch screen. Like, however hard I
right,
press it, it's the same. It's not a
right.
keyboard. So like I found like a workaround. So the way I get dynamics on my iPad is through a
Mm.
filter and a volume controller, which is this pad over here.
Uh,
So what I and of course what they've done is every note, if you press the top of the note, that's louder than the bottom of the note. So
got it.
that's the velocity control. But there's also when you play an instrument, when you pluck a string harder, it sounds more bright. So basically, I put the filter up, and when if I play to play soft, I put take the filter down. So if I'm doing a combination,
Wow,
so this is something that I had to like literally break my head. And
wow.
so it's a combination of a filter, a volume controller, and velocity control. So all these things put together is how I get my dynamics in place for this particular tone. And I
Wow.
kind of have the same approach for synthesizers as well. So if something needs to sound bright, I kind of use a combination of automation, filters, and all of that. So like there's a difference when something has to be in your face and somewhere in the back, right?
Right.
Uh, so I put a lot of emphasis on dynamics, and getting it to sound the soft section, the loud section, everything. Like I kind of have to. That's why I that's why I focus on playing. So I know how I've played it is what it needs to sound like. So
Absolutely. I mean, that is so. Just seeing your left hand work, man, that is. I don't even know, man. I'm sure you have classes, which I've seen you have classes, but man, that is a college degree to do that because like every note when you just played, is that a Vina patch or what
no,
instrument was
this
it?
is actually this. So this patch is it's like a guitar with a sitar
Guitar.
bridge on it,
Okay,
then an EQ, then a distortion, then a Moog filter, then echo and reverb. So it's like a bunch of pedals after a guitar,
nice.
but it's a combination of all these things. And since this is physical modeling, they also have an actual Vina physical model. So over here for this patch, it's all about the vertical
Wow.
dynamics. It's not. I use my left hand for sympathetic strings. Then I can also pluck a string. So I can also there's the way I use my left hand is basically to control all the aspect other than the notes I'm playing. So every
That is
patch works differently. So
every
I
patch
have
is
to
different.
retrain. Every patch is different.
That is
Every
so
patch is
crazy,
different.
man. I don't think I could do that in 100 million years because just that filter thing alone, the way I was thinking, I thought, being dumb about it, I thought it was like some kind of a filter map and envelope map. No, you were just like doing it on real time. And that's
Yeah,
why that
that's
note sounds
performance is
alive.
everything for me. Yeah,
Wow. That is so crazy, man. That's
yeah.
so cool.
So
Nice.
which is why
Nice, dude.
it like for me the main thing for me is even if it's a digital instrument, it has to sound as human as possible.
Right.
So that's why I everything has to be from my hands and nothing
Yeah.
automated like so.